Thank you, Trace. Well, brand new Fox polls into the newsroom this hour. Let's take a look at some of them. This one shows the candidates' favorable numbers, okay? Barack Obama at 60%, unfavorable 35%. John McCain at 55%. Obama's unfavorables show him at 35, as I said, and McCain's at 41%. Let's bring in our panel, a special panel today, a panel of pollsters. These folks know how to read these numbers that we're all analyzing so closely. Scott Rasmussen is an independent pollster, of course, and the president of Rasmussen Reports. Kellyanne Conway is a Republican pollster and president and CEO of the polling company. And Bernard Whitman is a former pollster to President Bill Clinton. Welcome to all of you. Scott, what do your favorables look like compared to those? And how important are favorables at this stage of the race?
Well, our favorables are similar. The actual numbers are a couple points lower for each guy. The significant thing in our numbers are that the people with a very favorable opinion of Barack Obama keep rising, up to 41% right now. For John McCain, they keep shrinking back down to 26%. So there's a lot more enthusiasm for Obama among his supporters. All
right, let's look at the VP favorables and get Kellyanne's thoughts on those, because this is an interesting number as well. We have Biden at 57 in the favorable number, and Palin at 48%. Joe Biden's doing pretty well, Kellyanne. Is that what you're seeing? Does that match up with what you're seeing?
Oh, the greatest gift Joe Biden has had in this race is named Sarah Palin, because Joe Biden is just a gaffe a day. He's a gaffe monster, and the most recent one wasn't even a gaffe. It was a very serious statement about policy. He said not once but twice in San Francisco just the other day that Barack Obama would certainly, mark his word, be tested by an international problem. And I think that where you see these numbers come out is I can't remember anybody in the history of politics who has been attacked as personally in such a short amount of time as Sarah Palin, and it was bound to take its toll. But the 48% who are favorable towards her, I feel like those are also people who may not even vote for McCain-Palin, but somehow intuit that you got to give somebody credit for staying in the ring who has been scorned, not even by the political media, but even in our culture. You know, all the tabloids, the culture shows, the entertainment shows are always attacking her. It's really bizarre. Now, favorability ratings don't always necessarily translate into actual head-to-head ballot numbers. It's really good to look at the presidential attributes. The people who are looked upon as the stronger leaders, fighting for the middle class, shares my ideas.
Those some of those that we're seeing are not matching up. I mean, we showed this one before, and I'll just reference it. You know, basically saying, who do you think has more presidential qualities? 80% said John McCain, and yet they are leaning towards Barack Obama. Bernard?
No, but the truth that question is, who do you think has the right experience to be president? Well, Hillary Clinton
Which really nobody could deny.
Hillary Clinton beat Barack Obama on experience, and look who our nominee is. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to who do you trust to solve this economic crisis. Barack Obama has consistently shown double-digit leads there, and he now shows double-digit leads on who do you trust more on taxes. I cannot remember a time.
He's been hammering that message.
And I can't remember
Scott,
a time when a Democrat has led a Republican on taxes. And I think the combination of those two things, combined with the desire for change, is why we're seeing Barack Obama now crest over 50% in most of the polls.
Go ahead, real quick, and then I want to ask you guys a big
on
general
that tax
question.
issue. The last Democrat who had an advantage, was trusted more on taxes, was Bill Clinton over the first President Bush in 1992, because that President Bush said, read my lips. They did, and he changed his mind. So Bill Clinton had the edge, he got elected, and that's where Barack Obama is.
It's also because Barack Obama says he's cutting taxes for 95% of the country.
It's a pretty tough message to fight against. You know, we're basically going to send you, we're going to give you money, okay? We're giving you money. Talk to me a little bit about the overall feeling of this election, because I just talked to Orrin Hatch moments ago. He said, I see this as a Truman Dewey moment. He said, I think that John McCain's feisty. He's a fighter. He's going to make a comeback in the last 2 weeks. Does it feel like that to you right now, Scott?
Right now, it feels like this race is close to being set in stone. The numbers have been very stable ever since Lehman Brothers collapsed and the Wall Street economic debacle began. Barack Obama has had the edge. It will take another event outside the campaign to shift the nature of this race.
Yeah. Do you feel that way, Kellyanne, that the only thing that would change the course right now would be some exogenous event?
Has to be a big event, or it has to be people actually thinking that now Barack Obama is spending too much money on ads. In other words, they're sick of him in their living rooms, which we're yet to see, which kind of surprises me, because the cumulative effect of too many ads sometimes is that, get out of my living room. I heard you the first 1,000 times, but that doesn't seem to be touching Obama's numbers. I also just think that these people who say they're undecided, I believe that they are undecided.
Around 10%, you all agree, right? About 10%?
About 10, yeah, but when you see in some of these media polls, Martha, that it's 4%, then they're just pushing people, and those, if you're pushed, you're going to say Obama.
Yeah.
If you're pushed
Now,
too
Kellyanne's
hard.
talking about when you've got someone on the phone, if they say, I don't know who I'm going to vote for, you say, well, you're kind of leaning towards this one or leaning towards that one, and you're literally pushing
There's
them
not
on
a
the phone to
hidden
get an answer.
Obama voter in this whole country.
No.
If you're voting for Obama, but that's true. If you're voting for Obama, you're proud about it.
I would disagree with that. Let me tell you why. I think ultimately this election is likely to come down to my home state, Virginia, and I'll tell you one undecided voter who's, I think, very typical of the undecided vote across the country and in Virginia. My father, lifelong Republican, almost always votes Republican. I talked to him the other day. He said, I'm still undecided. I said, if you had to vote today, he said, probably Obama.
Why?
Barack Obama right now has 286 electoral votes. 23 of those, or 27, are sort of in the lean category. John McCain would have to pick up every state that's a toss-up, as well as win Virginia, Colorado, and Nevada, which are leaning to Barack, in order to capture the 270.
And John McCain has 13 days to win over Bernard's dad, so that's what John McCain's doing. But
will you give his number out to the campaigns?
Before I let you guys go, really quickly, you know, when you look at this race, one of the things that I hear people talking about all the time is, well, you don't know how people are actually going to vote. A lot of times people change their mind at the last second. There's a current out there that believes that this might be a lot tighter than it looks. Do you believe that, Scott?
That current exists in every single election,
right.
and the losing side always believes there's something wrong with the poll. Will it be a little bit tighter than the 9-point lead we're showing in the Fox poll right now, or the 6-point lead?
As you point out, the Obama folks, you don't hear them saying they don't believe the polls, right?
Well, and I think the reason why it might be a little bit tighter is it's very difficult to predict turnout among certain groups like young voters, new voters, independents, and undecideds who I think are going to break for Obama. So I think that Obama vote total will probably go down a few points, but with an 8-7-point lead, he's got a little room.
And Martha, quickly, the media polls that have been out, I mean, some of these outlets that are endorsing Obama formally, they've been endorsing him informally, and then are also showing double-digit leads with John McCain under 40%.
You don't buy
That's
those.
just crazy. I think if a private pollster released numbers like that, we'd be screamed out of town.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Very interesting, Scott and Kellyanne and Bernard. Therese, back to you.